Special meeting of the Common Council for August 11, 2025, with now section. Please rise. Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Phelps, here. Castelli. Here. Ramsey.
Here.
Ezon. Morris. Here. Fernhagen. Roberts. Brony. Sarver. Polo.
Here.
President Cuvier.
Here.
Quorum present.
Can I get a second to receive the call of the meeting and place it on file? Jennifer, second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, the resolution, as you may recall from our last meeting, is in support of applying for a 2025 Community Development Block Grant Program. Start with an introduction and second. Vicky and Jennifer. Okay, we have both our grant writer and Crawford, little part of it as well, Crawford Associates, here to speak and answer any questions you may have.
So this was a new resolution last month, and the meeting coincided with another meeting. And so in the resolution, it's not clear specifically what this grant is for, and also whether or not there is any special matching money from the city. So if somebody could explain that to us.
Certainly, yeah, I'd be happy to do that. So, if I could quickly first, I'd like to thank Council President DiPietro, the County Mayor's Office for having me back. It's been quite a while since I've been in this room, but I'm glad to be back. Thank you for having me. Also, some familiar names, Council Member Castelli, Council Polo, good to see you. Yeah, so this resolution is rather generically worded. It's a formality for every CDBG grant application. It's essentially a broad-based resolution that authorizes the city to submit a CDBG application for the 2025 program year and set the required public hearing that's required prior to going out to submit an application. In terms of the finances of that application, right now, what we're looking at, it's very preliminary. I want to be very clear about it. We are working with Brian Crawford Associates on coming up with a budget. The grant specifically is intended for the continuation of the sidewalk ADA improvements throughout the city. We've identified, with Brian's help, we've identified about 6 different intersections specifically that have not gone out to bid yet and are not part of the existing plans for the sidewalk improvements. That is intentional because the program does not want to see their money spent on items that have already gone out to bid, that are already under construction. So we till after you've been awarded and then enter into a grant agreement contract before we start going out to bid for those particular specific services. At the moment, we've come up with a tentative plan that total cost would be just over $2 million. The CDBG program is the public facilities program, will award up to $1 million. Up to $1 million in this particular round towards that project. We purposely, we looked at this through a conservative lens, rounding up, if you will. And pardon me, so at the application, when it's submitted, it will appear as though or is being presented in such a way that we're applying for $1 million towards this project with a approximately $1 million match from the city to meet that $2 million, what is now a $2 million total. I do want to make abundantly clear in advance, that is for application purposes only. If the grant is awarded, then there will have to be further conversations about what we're looking at, what is the project actually going to look like in the end, what is the city prepared to invest towards that project, and then scale accordingly, so that we can maximize, potentially $1 million for New York State Office of Community Renewal, GDBG funds, as well as match that with whatever the city does have available or is willing to commit to that project.
And does the application, and let's say we receive the grant, does that bring with it any commitment that we must accept the grant?
At this point in time, no.
At what point in time does it?
After you sign the grant agreement.
So we could get a grant and then decide that we don't have $1 million.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
But who's gonna fund it?
Thank you. So if we do get the $1 million, then we have to match it. Can we use the existing sidewalk funds that's collected
Yes, sir.
during that time to match it?
Yes, sir.
And this is going to be identified, the target's going to be the ADA, DOJ settlement areas,
That is correct.
including the sidewalks.
Yes, correct. Specifically the sidewalks.
Okay. Vic, can you get-
So, yeah, so, what you said is that, will there be a new resolution if we do get the grant to pass, to accept everything? I don't know, I had the question before.
That is generally dependent upon municipal regulations.
So is it,
So it would, depending on how the city operates, each municipality is different. I know in a past life for me, where I served, we had to, there's the application, or sorry, the resolution to apply for a grant. And then we also had to do a resolution at the time to accept a grant if it was awarded. I don't know if that is the case here.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
But that was standard procedure for what we did. So there's always that window of you will be able to reconsider whether it's something you like.
okay, and so, yeah, so it's a matching grant, let's just say,
It's actually not, to be clear about that as well. It's not technically. There's no match requirement for this particular opportunity. However, it certainly will help your application so much better if I can show, at least at this point in the application stage, that there is a commitment from the city to.
okay, so it looks good when you ask for it. It's not necessary, but once you do say that, then we have to follow up and do, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
You will have a lot more autonomy at that point to determine how you want that, what you would like for that to look like.
Okay, so the maximum is 1 million, but it can also be, we can award it 500,000.
You can choose to scale your project back to a reasonable, whatever is a reasonable scope for the city. Absolutely, that can be done.
And Justin, do you have?
He covered basically what I was going to say, that I wanted you to specify that this on paper right now is a non-match requirement grant pursuit.
That is correct.
So we're applying for, we're including $2 million basically to work in the application because that makes it look more favorable to possibly get us the bigger amount, closer to $1 million
That is correct.
award.
Correct.
Councilman, and the scope of this project again is what?
The specific scope of the project, do you want to?
Sure. I can figure that. So I'm Ryan Last from Associates. We've been working in the Public Works Board, a lot of the DOJ work and mostly the curb ramps. But what we did was we took a lot of the DOJ areas that we did the curb ramps to, and we just continued sidewalks between public and municipally owned buildings. So we targeted 4th Street from Warren to Union, which will get you to the post office and get you close to the courthouse. Then we did Fifth Street from Warren all the way to State, which gets you to the library. We went from Sixth Street, which is Columbia Street, to Washington Street, which gets you close to Oakdale, as well as close to the firehouse and building department. And we did Seventh Street from Warren to Union, just to get you from the police station to Warren Street. We used Warren Street as kind of the center of the city and trying to get as many branches to that as possible. And then we also did a section on Seventh Street from Columbia to State, so that gets you from the other side of the park over to State Street, small section there. And then as a little bit of an extra area, we included down State Street from 5th to 7th. So some of the reasons we did that, we also did both sides of the street. So the total project, it would include work on both sides of every street, with budgets and things like that, became closer to the actual project. We could pick one side or the other. We also did specifically look at if there was a section that was just done last week or someone that's doing work now. At this point in time, just to apply for the grant, we said, let's just say we're going to do everything. And then when, if the city is awarded the grant, you can then look at our full project scope to figure out what is really needed or what funds are available. Where we found some challenges come where if we applied for exactly 1 million and for some reason the work didn't come in, have $1 million in cost, it's hard to add later, especially with some of the environmental pieces that come with an actual project. So we want to have more area in the event that the city does get $1 million and potentially there's work that could be done to make sure you spend as much money as you got from the grant. So that kind of goes to Margaret.
So in this application, presumably you are going to be providing those specifics in your application and your budget information, is that correct?
Yeah, that's part of that's part of one of the tables that's submitted. Yeah.
Right. So before we vote on this, I think the council should see all of that documentation. The full application, including what you just said to us verbally, with the streets, the sidewalks you're talking about, and what your projected costs are for all of this. So that we see exactly what it is. And we don't vote tonight, we vote next week.
Okay, that will hold up the scheduling of the public hearing period.
Because?
Or if you want to amend the resolution to scale back the part authorizing submission of an application and only set the public hearing is a formality and has to be done.
The resolution is fine.
The full application, I don't even have access to the full application yet.
Okay,
There's
so
a
let me say this. The resolution's fine, it's clear, other than it's not clear what the
Where
word
do you speak a little loud, please?
Yes, the resolution is fine, it's generic, as you said, it just doesn't detail what the work is. So if you just read from something that lists the various streets and sidewalks, if you could just send us that information so that we know what the purpose of this is, and you already did work on how much this was going to cost, so presumably that's something that you could include in an email to the full council, so that we know exactly what the scope of work intended is for this application. I don't think that has to hold anything up.
So we continue with the public hearing. We're having a public
This
hearing
is not a public hearing. This resolution we would then, we're not voting on this tonight.
On the
we're voting
format,
next week, but we would then set a public. I'm just saying we need more documentation here.
So because when you say it's going from this street to this street, are you talking the entire sidewalk or just the cutouts? The corner cutouts?
Entire side. It would be the curb ramps. Most of those curb ramps have been or in the process of being replaced. So it was kind of we did the curb ramp on each end. We're replacing the sidewalks between each one of those.
Any other comments from council?
Can we have the public hearing?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can we have the public hearing after our, what's the name meeting, our formal meeting?
No, I think we should vote on the resolution tonight. I don't really see the reason.
Sorry, second, Tom?
I think we'll vote on the resolution tonight.
I don't want to vote on it without seeing the
No.
documentation. I just would like to see the documentation. I don't want to vote on something. I mean, it's great that you were able to read off your piece of paper there, but, I would like to see it.
This is simply to allow the mayor's office to pursue grant
I
funds
understand that.
with no city match requirement. So I don't understand the extra scrutiny.
It's not,
Something, if they're already, if they spoke in telling us what is there, what do we need to see in a writing form?
Because I'd like it to be part of the record.
But
Well, it
why-
can still be a part of the record. I can send you that email tomorrow, but just to get things,
Yeah, we need to get things moving.
there's nothing nefarious happening. I mean, these people
It's not
came in
hard.
person to give you all the
Yeah.
details. It's just, I'm just trying to understand, that's all. I've seen many council meetings and there's never this much, you know, scrutiny. This is no city match requirement. And we could be awarded $1 million to fix our sidewalks. Everybody is constantly complaining about. I don't see what, we'll follow up with whatever email, documentation, information, all the specific, locations. If you need that, I'll do that tomorrow morning. But for purposes of tonight, this is just to allow us to continue pursuing it.
What are your
Well,
deadlines?
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
What are your deadlines for this? You know,
Right now, so these applications, they've moved to what they call an open round, which as it's written right now, it is drop dead date, not till the end of October or until funds are exhausted. It's the funds are exhausted part that makes,
when did it become public, the grant? So when did it start?
officially this round opened, the open round opened on July the 17th.
So the earlier we do it, the better. And you don't know how many
In my
people
professional
apply,
opinion, yes,
and you don't know how many people applied.
probably helps the state.
But I think I can.
So can you,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, but I know you're saying there's no matching, but then I think you said that in a way, I know there's no matching, but you're gonna put there is a matching because it looks good. Isn't it the bottom line? So it's not exactly true, there's no matching. Once we say there is a matching, then we have to follow up with that.
Well, I can tell you from the city perspective, there is no possible way that the city is going to match $1 million.
Oh, I know that.
We all know that. I think for application purposes, it's better from his professional opinion to put it in the application that there's at least $2 million worth of work. It scores better when they're scoring these applications. If you put that you have $1 million worth of work, you're not going to be awarded $1 million because it equals the amount of work there is to be done. So what he's saying is include all of the work. And there's way more than just $2 million worth of work that needs to happen.
I understand all this, but
Okay.
I'm just saying, that at the end of the day, we say that we will commit in something, and they are favoring us because.
No, we're not making that.
But at the end of the day, we can refuse this if we do it.
No, I know, we can
Sorry.
refuse it.
We'll be in a better situation.
Let's see if we can help, smooth this out.
The voice that reason.
Well, your voice would be, okay. So I understand that the sidewalk project initiative, which was instituted recently, we're gonna see another $307,000 that ostensibly would be going to this sort of a project. So my question is, if we get 307 in 2026, 2027, 2028, that's like 900,000. Would that money count towards the project? Because I do believe we're anticipating.
Well, the way I see it
Whoa.
is, oh,
Yes.
okay.
It would be helpful if you could address that.
Yeah, if I could quick just comment on that perspective. Yes, actually, so first thing, my job is to position my clients as best as possible to win.
Mhm.
That's my concern. Whatever happens after that, if you get awarded, that's up to the city. That is for the mayor's office and the council to decide whether to accept it, deny it, use a portion of it, scale the project back, do whatever. It's malleable at that point, up until you sign your grant agreement. OCR will not issue the release of funds or the grant agreement until all of that has been worked out. And all those numbers have been.
Just follow
The sidewalk improvement district that has been set up is fairly well known. There's no secret to that. OCR certainly, if somebody there is aware that it exists. And my understanding is it's about 300,000 a year or so, give or take, that brings in. If that is, revenue that the city is bringing in for that specific purpose each year, then you can easily scale your project back, if awarded, to just include, say, that 300,000. So instead of a $2 million project, you actually are going to do like a 1.3 million. If that gets done, if you're successful and that project gets completed successfully, you can actually go back to the same program again the following year, apply for another $1 million. Maybe you can do the same exact thing, try to get another million. Now you have another 300,000 that by then has been accumulated, and you can do another $1.3 million project. The best case scenario, it's just positioning, for the city to maximize as much grant funding as possible towards this type of project.
I think also,
Go ahead, Dom.
I think it also looks better for the city that we're serious about the DOJ and that this application, it's a DOJ thesis application, we submitted to them that, we're serious about this improvement, especially that we're targeting the DOJ settlement. I think that this also looks better for us, that we're being aggressive at trying to get the funding.
Correct, right.
So if we're doing this project and it's $2 million, does it all have to be expended in 26, or can we have the 27, another 300,000 from the sidewalk, 28, another 300,000? Would that be something that would structure well in this?
So the grant term is 24 months. It was 2 years.
Okay.
Okay, that's,
Thank you.
Let's have a look.
So one of the reasons that I wanted to see the list of sidewalks that you're planning to do is precisely because that work was costed out. It was costed out when we were initially doing the assessment of what we would need to raise to do the sidewalk improvement. Costing out by sidewalk was gone. And so it would be good to see what we've got that this is supposedly covering. And in terms of deadline and the urgency, since you don't have the completed package for the application at this point, I don't see that not voting tonight until we actually see what this is covering holds you up, because it's not as if we vote tonight, tomorrow morning, you're putting something in the mail.
Well,
Correct?
so in this particular round, they've done something a little bit different.
Okay.
And so these applications this year have a pre-application, which is what I'm currently working on right now. I'm a couple of pieces of paper away from being able to submit that. That's why when I say I haven't seen the full application yet, I don't have access to it yet. I can't actually see what it's going to look like until I've submitted the pre-application.
What else has to go in the pre-application other than us passing this resolution?
There's a couple of forms that have since been signed, I got those back just today, signed.
But you don't have to list the scope of work.
I'm so sorry.
You do not have to list the scope of work in the pre-application.
I do to a certain degree.
That's all I want to say.
My intention is right now is to list what we have come up with
Right.
for today's objectives.
So if we have that, and, it's not like tomorrow morning at 9, you can send it out and we're delaying you by asking to see something that you're going to have to put into the application anyway. So I don't see the problem.
I'm mostly concerned with the public hearing portion of it, setting that public hearing, getting that,
Yeah.
that's a time driven.
Thank you, Scott. Let's have a look.
Can I ask you?
I'm a good question.
Justin, is there any way that you can just attach that, what you have, put the plans to this resolution tomorrow, when it's submitted online, just so it's online?
Of course. Sure.
Okay, now, we're gonna have a vote now. Take your mind.
At what point does this come
No,
out?
Rich, we're voting.
Well, we're still discussing it, John.
No, we're not. I called the vote. We're gonna vote.
Member Belton,
Aye.
That's Libby,
No, it's not them all. I have questions too, but no.
Ramsey.
Aye.
Nine. Morris,
No.
Hagan. Roberts,
Aye.
Ronnie,
Aye.
There you go.
Online.
You see him?
No,
There it is. Oh, Ryan, can we see you? Yes, see you.
The camera's having issues, but I can log in a different way. One moment.
This is kind of unbelievable one.
Testing due to the relative, I think we need more information.
Alright. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
there it is.
Aye. Sorry about that, guys. My computer camera is.
Jerry?
No.
One, two, three, four.
Not enough. Let's get the votes to work tonight. Sorry about that, Scott.
This is incredible. It's just incredible to me. I mean, I've seen a lot of really stupid things. This one takes the cake. And I just want to be on the record for saying that.
And I'm just kind of like irritated because this has been this is my first time being on this panel. And it's been a lot of you guys who've been on this panel, sitting for quite some time. There's been projects that are not getting started. Like, why do we keep holding things up? I'm confused.
it's not getting held up.
It is getting done. How can you say that?
Well,
You're
the
just-
pre-application that it needs to do.
Can't call for reality.
I mean, I'm just.
There's a list, there's
I had questions, but I will stop, but I couldn't. What is this kind of exacerbation here? I had a few more questions. I was stopped, no,
I
you
didn't
can't talk.
stop you from asking.
No, Tom did.
I did. I had to ask it one more question.
Direct it to him, don't direct it to me.
No,
I
but
didn't stop
you, the both of you, you're like,
Because
oh,
I
I
think
can't
it's a
believe you
really
guys, you
stupid
vetoed
thing,
that.
because
Well,
I
I had a
think-
question, I needed to,
So
well,
ask the question.
At the end of the day, your question, whatever, but we need to get things moving. It's been.
They had a month to provide
You guys
us.
had it on time, panel.
This is a month ago, you had to, nobody could answer any questions.
Always things.
Here we are months later. All you have to do.
Thank you, Scott.
is special meetings.
It's been straightforward. Yeah.
Okay. I make a motion to adjourn this special meeting. Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?